So students, what we discussed yesterday?
Sir, momentum.
Huh? Moment
Momentum.
and
Momentum.
and
Change in
Sir,
momentum.
very
law.
good.
Second law.
Then we discuss change in momentum. Then
Second law.
Newton's second law.
we discuss the rate of change of momentum. Yes, and then we derived a relation that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. Exactly. And then we concluded one very important relation. Okay, chalo. So let's start with this now. Okay. So we have discussed momentum, then rate of change of momentum, then we discussed and then we concluded this very important law. What? F is equal to ma and delta p upon t is also ma. So what we concluded, F is equal to delta P upon T. This is a mathematical statement of Newton's second law. And what the statement says? The statement says that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied on it. And the change in momentum takes place in the direction of force applied. Okay. So remember all these formulas, but these are very fundamental formulas. These are really very fundamental formulas which will help us to understand the topic. Okay, so now what we will do, now we will, as we have discussed the formula and we know the relation, delta P upon T is equal to MA, F is equal to delta P upon T and F is equal to MA. So these three important formulas are there which we can use, okay, to which we can use in the mathematical relations. Okay, so now what we had observed, if you check it here, these are two our observations. These are two important observations. What we said, F is directly proportional to mass if the acceleration is constant, and F is directly proportional to acceleration if the mass is constant. So if you plot a graph of F and M, or if you plot a graph of F and A, keeping acceleration constant in the first case and the mass constant in the second case, how we will get the graph? So you will find that our graph will be a straight line inclined to x-axis. How our graph will be? Chalo. So we will write down this. Write down graph showing the variation of acceleration. So let's find out the graph of acceleration, and so what we will take on x-axis and what we will take on y-axis. That's a very important topic of discussion. So what we will do, we will take,
Sir,
beta, yes,
x-axis.
what we will take on x-axis? What we will take on x-axis, beta?
Sir, acceleration.
Acceleration on?
X-axis.
No. Acceleration is not on x-axis. You will find we have to take force on x-axis and acceleration on y. Clear? What will go on x-axis and what will go on y-axis? So your force will always be, your force will go on x-axis, beta, and your acceleration will go on y. Okay. What it says? It says that as you increase the force, the acceleration will increase. Yes or no? See, what is the meaning of this? As you increase the force, the acceleration is increasing. So if you increase the force, the acceleration will increase. If you decrease the force, the acceleration will decrease. So F is directly proportional to A. But this is only true when the mass is constant. So F is directly
Constant.
proportional to A if the mass is constant. So if you plot a graph where on x-axis you take force and on y-axis you take acceleration, so you will find the nature of your graph. The nature of your graph will be a straight line inclined to x-axis. This is how you will find the nature of your graph. This is how you will find the nature of your graph. This is how your graph will be. Draw better. Draw this graph where the force is on the x-axis and the acceleration is on the y-axis. What does this line indicate? It indicates that if the force will increase, the acceleration will also increase. So this is how the graph will be for variation of acceleration with force. Okay.
4.
Please draw this graph. Just on x-axis label force and on y-axis label acceleration. So now we will talk about the second variation. The second variation is a graph showing the variation of force with mass. What's the variation? The variation of force with mass. Now what we observe the force and the mass relation. So we observe that as the mass increases, the force required to produce the necessary acceleration will also increase. More is the mass of the object, more will be the force required to produce the constant acceleration. And less is the mass of the object, less will be the force required to produce the constant acceleration. Clear? So this is the variation between force and mass. So how the graph will be? So you will find the graph will be the same. More is the mass of the object, more will be the force required.
Force applied.
More will be the force required. Okay. So the graph will be the same. The only difference, please ensure the only difference is you write mass on x-axis and force on y. Please make this change that your mass will be on your x-axis and your force will go on the y-axis. Please do it and draw this graph as. Clear class? So how it will go? Your mass will come on x-axis in this case and your force will be on y-axis. But we know more will be the mass, more will be the force required to produce the constant acceleration. Now we will talk about the units of force. Write down next topic of our discussion. Unit of force. You can say SI and CG as unit of force. Write down the topic. The SI and CG as unit of force. So what is our relation? So we have discussed F is equal to MA. Exactly. So how much is one? What is the SI unit of force? You know how much? What is the SI unit of force? The SI unit of force is Newton.
Yes.
Is Newton. If you want to write in a short form, just write capital N. Okay. Or if you want to write in a full form, then write NEWTON. So how much is 1 Newton now? So 1 Newton is a force which, when acting on an object, see, understand the formula. How much is force? Remember, force is what? Mass into acceleration. FOR. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Exactly. So what we are describing, how we are describing the SI unit? So 1 Newton, that is the SI unit of force, is a force which, when acting on an object of mass, because mass is involved no beta in force, so which is acting on an object of mass 1 kg into acceleration, so produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. Exactly. This is how we define 1 Newton. This is how we define 1 Newton. Okay. How we define 1 Newton, beta? 1 Newton is nothing but it is a force which, when acting on a body of mass 1 kg, produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So we can easily say 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg mass into 1 meter per second square acceleration. 1 meter per second square acceleration. This is what, beta? This is the SI of force. Exactly. Now, what is the CGS unit of force? So, what is the CGS unit of force? So, the CGS unit of force is dyne. What is the CGS unit of force, beta? The CGS unit of force is dyne. Now, how much is one dyne? So, one dyne is a force which, when acting on an object of mass, how much? 1
Gram.
gram. Exactly, because in CGS, the mass is measured in gram. Okay,
Gram.
1 gram produces an acceleration of how
1
much?
centimeter per second square.
What, beta? Can you repeat?
1 centimeter per second square.
Very good. 1 centimeter per second square. Why? Because it is the centimeter is the SI unit, na beta. So, 1 dyne is a force which, when acting on a body of mass 1 gram, produces an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square. So we can say 1 dyne is equal to 1 gram into 1 centimeter per second square. This is the SI unit of, this is the CGS unit of force. Okay, now we will, is it very clear, but are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Now the relationship between Newton. Okay, let's find out the relationship between Newton and dyne. The relationship between Newton and dyne. Okay, chalo, let's look at this relation. A very interesting relationship, beta. Now, how much is 1 Newton? So we know 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg into 1 meter per second square. Yes. Now, what we want to do, we want to convert this relation into dyne. Exactly. Now, how much is 1 dyne? So we know 1 dyne is equal to 1 gram into 1 centimeter per second square. So what we will try to do now, we will try to convert, what we will do, we'll try to convert Newton into dyne. Okay, chalo. So let's try to convert it. So 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg. Now in 1 kg, how many grams are there? Let me convert kg to gram. So in 1 kg, how many grams are there?
1000 gram.
Very good. So I write, instead of 1 kg, I write 1000 gram into. Now what is the relation between meter and centimeter? 1 meter
100.
is equal to?
100 centimeter.
Very good. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So I write 1000 gram into 100 centimeter per second. So in both the cases, there are seconds. So this will not make any difference. Now, 1 Newton is equal to 100. 100 means what? 10 raised to 3.
2.
Yeah, 100, sorry, 1000. 1000 is how much? 10 raised to 3. 10 raised to 3 gram into 100 is 10 raised to 2. Yes or no? 10 raised to 2 centimeter per second square. Exactly. So So how much we get? 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 3 into
10
10 raised
raised
to
to
2.
5 gram per centimeter.
Yes, so 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to 2 becomes 10 raised to
10 raised
5.
to 5
Yes, so 10 raised to 5
gram centimeter per second square.
gram into centimeter per second square. Very good, beta. Brilliant. Okay. So what we get? What we get? So we get 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to
10
5.
to 5 gram per
10 raised
centimeter.
to 5 gram per centimeter square is nothing but dyne. So 10 raised to 5 dyne. Write down. This is the relation between Newton and dyne. 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 5 dyne, and the reverse of it, 1 dyne is equal to 10 raised to minus 5 Newton. How much is 1 dyne? 1 dyne is 10 raised to minus 5. Please write down this as well. Write down both the things. So this is the relation between Newton and dyne. Copy this better. Copy it.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Very okay. Chalo. So now what we will do, we will look at very interesting relation. One more factor. According to Newton's second law. Here I can write N capital because we are talking about the person Newton. According to Newton's second law of motion. What we concluded, F is equal to what it was, delta P upon T. Yes or no? What was our
Yes, sir.
relation? F is equal to delta P by T, or delta P
T.
by delta T as well. It doesn't make any difference because we are talking about the time interval. What we are talking about? We are talking about the time interval. So here instead of T, we can say delta T as well, beta. Why? Because delta T is the time interval, as delta P is the change in momentum. The
Time.
same way, delta T is also the change, I mean the time interval. So you will find, if I rearrange this equation a bit, I will find into F into delta T, because this is in multiplication, this is in division, so it will go in multiplication, is equal to delta P, is equal to delta T. Yes or no? Do you agree? This equation can be written in this form.
Yes, sir.
Yes, because this delta T, the time interval is in denominator beta. So here it will go in multiplication. So F into delta P is equal to delta LF into delta T is equal to delta P. What does it mean? It means force
Force
into time interval
to change of time.
is equal to change in momentum. Force into time interval is equal to change in momentum. Now, try to understand force and time interval. They are, understand, a force into time interval is equal to change in momentum. Means here, if you try to figure out the relation between force and time interval, force and time interval are inversely.
Proportional.
Very good. They are inversely proportional. Means more is the force, less is the time interval. Or more is the time interval, less is the force required to bring the change in momentum. Okay. So this is a very important relation, beta. Try to understand. This is a very fundamental and a very important relation what we have. Okay. Let me explain you like let's take the example of athletes. athlete often lands on sand, or you may find foam as well. After taking a long jump or high jump. Exactly. After when they take a long jump or the high jump, you generally find that the athletes they land on the sand or on the foam. Now, why do they do this? Exactly. Let's try to understand the relation. Now, assume the athlete is running. Okay. So when the athlete is running, you know that before taking the long jump or the high jump,
Yes.
they run. So when the athlete is running, what he is having? He is having momentum because an athlete
Yes.
is having a mass as well as velocity. So the athlete is having momentum. Okay, so when the athlete runs, he is having momentum. But when after taking the long jump or the high jump, the athlete comes to rest. So when the athlete comes to rest, the momentum becomes zero. Means
Zero.
from having some momentum, the momentum becomes zero. Means there is a change in momentum. What is there? There is a change in momentum of the athlete. And when there is a change in momentum of the athlete, this change in momentum can be brought by two things. And which are those two things? Force and time interval. Now, as I told you that force and time interval are inversely proportional. So, what we do if the time interval will be very less, then the force required to change the momentum will be too much. Okay, the force required to bring the necessary change in momentum will be more. Okay, so what the athlete prefers? He prefers to have less time, more time interval so that the force required will be less. You're getting it? So if the time interval is more, the force required will be less. So that's the reason why when he land on the sand or foam, he sinks into the sand or he sinks into the foam, and that increases the time interval of impact. And that increase in the time interval of impact exerts less force on him. And that's why you will find that though the athlete was running very fast, but when he stops quickly, he is not getting injured or hurt. Why? Because he is bringing the change in the momentum of his body, but he is doing that by increasing the time interval to a greater extent so that the force exerted on his body will be less. The same is the case that when we while catching, what we do, a ball, while catching a ball, you always find the cricketer withdraws his hand along with the ball. You must have observed this, that whenever the cricketer who is taking the catch, when he take the catch, he just don't keep his hand very firm at that moment, at that place when the ball hits his palm, but he withdraws his hand. He drags his hand behind. What he is doing? He is again using the same principle. Why withdrawing the hand? He is withdrawing the hand so that the time parameter, this beta, the time parameter increases. When the time parameter will increase, the force required to bring the necessary change in momentum will be less.
Less.
That's why he may not get injured, he may not get hurt. Exactly. The same way you can do, but don't try this, otherwise your parents will shout. But you can take a glass, okay, a glass, which means and your vessel, a utensil which is made up of glass, okay, and around a height of 5 to 6 feet, drop it on the floor. What you will find, the moment you drop it on the floor, it will break. The moment you hit on the floor, it will break because it is made up of glass. But if you drop it on your cushion, if you drop it on your sofa, okay, or if
It
you
will
drop
not
it
break.
on your carpet, what you observe, it will not break. Why it will not break now? Because
Because the time interval increases.
when the glass is falling down, it is having mass as well as velocity. So it is having momentum. But when the glass will hit the ground, it will stop. And when it will stop, there will be change in momentum. Now, how this change in momentum can be brought? So this change in momentum can be brought by two ways. Either applying less force for a longer duration of time or applying more force for a very short duration of time. But obviously, if you apply more force for a short duration of time, that may break the glass. So what we prefer? We prefer to increase the time interval. How you increase the time interval? By dropping it on a cushion or your foam. Why? Because when it will hit, when the glass will hit the foam, it will sink into it. And as it will sink into it, the time interval increase, and that's why the force required will be less. And this less force is enough. This less force is enough for the glass not to break. Getting it, class? So this is a very important relation. You should remember that whenever you want to bring the change in momentum, whenever you want to bring the change in momentum, you have to ensure that the time of impact is as much as possible so that the force will be minimum. Clear? All of you getting it, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo. So, should we start with some numericals now? हाँ बच्चा लोग?
Yes, sir.
Chalo,
Yes,
let's
sir.
start with some numericals. Now write down the numericals with me. So, before this, na beta, I will list down the formulas we require. So, I will list down all important formulas. Write down, beta. All important formulas. Write down all important formulas. Okay. So we start our discussion from the very first formula. Okay. This is our first formula. What we have. Write down all important formulae. The first formula. So what's the first formula? P is equal to mv. Then we have another formula. And another formula is this one. Another formula. So our next formula is change in momentum is equal to m delta v, which is also equal to m. Now change in momentum, how we write? So change in velocity. So how is the change in velocity, beta? So change in velocity is final velocity minus initial velocity. Okay, so it's the same formula because we don't use delta v, we use v minus u. So change in velocity delta p is equal to m delta v, which is nothing but v minus u, which is nothing but change in. Then we have rate of change of momentum. Okay. What is rate of change of momentum? We are having the next formula here. This is our third formula. Delta P upon T is equal to MA. Okay. Or we can also say delta P upon T is equal to MA. Instead of acceleration, we can write V minus U by T. Even this formula is the same. Then we have delta P upon T is equal to F. Then we have F is equal to MA. And then we have delta P upon T is equal to now we are done. I think, yeah. Okay, so these are our formulas, beta. Please remember what is P? What is P here?
Momentum.
Very good. P is equal to momentum. Then what is delta P?
Change in momentum.
Is equal to change in. What is U?
Initial velocity.
Very good. What is V?
Final velocity.
Final velocity. What is A?
Acceleration.
What is T?
Time.
What is F?
Force.
Force. Clear? So remember these formulas, beta. Please write down all these formulas. Copy it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay. So now what we will do, beta, we will start solving uh, the numericals based on these formulas on. Write down the first numerical now. How much is how much force is required to produce an acceleration of 2 meter per second square in a body of mass 0.8 kg. Start writing.
F is equal to M into A.
Very good, beta. Start solving. Don't call out. Don't call out. How much is the force required? So F is equal to MA. So F is equal to how much is the mass? Mass is 0.8 kg. So how much is the acceleration? 2. So how much is the force? How much is the force?
1.6.
1.6. What will be the unit?
Newton.
Newton. Why Newton? Because mass is in kg and acceleration is in meter per second. So that's why your unit will be 1.6 Newton. Okay, because it's a SI unit. Write down. Next. A ball of mass. Very interesting, huh? 10 gram is moving with a velocity of 50 meter per second. 50 meter per second on applying a constant force on the ball for 2 seconds, it acquires a velocity 70 meter per second. Calculate. One by one we will calculate. Huh? Calculate first the initial momentum of ball. So we will do one by one. So what we have to do? We have to find out the initial momentum of the ball. Now, what will be the momentum formula? What's the momentum formula?
M into V.
M into V.
We will use the initial velocity. 50
Very
meter
good.
per
So start
second.
solving. Start solving. So initial momentum is equal to the mass.
Mm,
Initial momentum will be the initial mass into initial velocity. What was the initial velocity? U. So P is
50
equal to
meter
how
per
much is the
second.
mass, beta?
10 gram.
10 grams. So should we keep it 10 gram or should we convert it into kg?
Converted to kg.
So we have to divide it by 1000 into how much was the initial velocity?
50 meter per second.
Okay, so P is equal to, which is coming out to be 0.001. 10 gram na? Sorry, 0.1. 0.01 into 50. What is the answer? How much is the answer?
0.5.
0.5.
0.5.
5.
0.5. Very good. 0.5. And write down the unit. What will be the unit of momentum? Kg meter per second. Clear?
Seconds.
This is the unit. So what's the initial momentum? The initial momentum of the ball is 0.5 kg meter per second. Chalo, write down the next, the final momentum. Write down the final momentum of ball. Chalo, now you all do it now and say me how much is the final momentum.
0.7 kg meter per second.
Very good, brilliant. The final momentum P is equal to mv.
0.07 meter per second.
Yeah, it will be m into v now. Okay, so mass is the same, which is 0.01 into 70. So you will find your final momentum is coming out to be 0.7 kg meter per second. Now let's talk about the third. Find out the rate of change of momentum. Now what is been asked, beta? The rate of change of momentum is been asked. Means it's not only the change in momentum, but the change in momentum in the given time. That is called as rate of change of momentum. So how we will find out the rate of change of momentum? The rate of change of momentum means it will be delta P upon T. Exactly. So how we will find out the change in momentum? So it will be mass into change in velocity. What is the change in velocity? V, or we can do it simply, m into v by u upon t. Exactly. So the rate of change of momentum will be mass, or we can use, or we can, what we can do, sorry, we'll do it this way only, what we are doing. So let's solve it. So how much is the mass? 0.01 into change in velocity. How much was the change in velocity? From 50 it has become 70. So
20
70 minus
meter per
50.
second.
70 minus 50 is 20. Yes or no?
Yes,
From
sir.
70, from 50 it becomes 20 now. So the rate is 20. And how much is the time? Time is 2.
2 seconds.
2 seconds now. Okay. So how much is the rate of change of momentum? So 20 divided by 2 is 10. So
0.4.
0.01 into 10. How much it is coming out to be? How much it is coming?
0.1.
0.1. Now rate of change of momentum is kg into meter per second square. Done. How much is the rate of change of momentum? 0.1 kg meter per second square. Now we will find out the next one. Write down the next one. The acceleration of ball. Then this find out the acceleration of ball. What's the formula for acceleration? V minus
V minus U upon T.
Exactly. So acceleration. What's the final velocity? Is 70. Yes or no, beta? What was the initial
Yes.
velocity? 50 divided by
Sir,
time.
10 meter per second square.
Very good. 20 upon 2 is 10 meter per second square. Very good. So that's our acceleration. Now the last one. Find out the last option. The magnitude of force applied. Find out the magnitude of force. So what's the formula? F is equal to
Mass into acceleration.
very good. जल्दी से करो. Mass कितना है? 0.01 into 10. How much?
0.1 Newton.
0.1 Newton.
0.1 Newton. Yes. Very good, बच्चा लोग. Very good. Brilliant. Okay. Let's see how we are finding each and everything. Initial momentum is mass into initial velocity. Final momentum is mass into final velocity. Rate of change of momentum is mass into change in velocity upon time. Then acceleration we got, and then we calculated the force. But do you observe something very common? See, how much is the rate of change of momentum? The rate of change of momentum is 0.1. And how much is the force? The force is also 0.1. Because the law says the rate of change of momentum is equal to force. Yes or no? What is the statement of Newton's law, beta? See, the statement says, the rate of change of momentum. See the statement of Newton's law. The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force applied. Means as how much is the rate of change of momentum? That much force is required. So here, how much is the rate of change of momentum? You find that in this numerical, the rate of change of momentum is 0.1 centimeter per second square. And how much is the force required? Is also 0.1. Clear? So this is nothing but this is a statement of Newton. Let's solve the another numerical. A cricket ball of mass. Write down better. A cricket ball of mass, 100 grams, moving with the speed of 30 meter per second. With a speed of 30 meter per second is brought to rest by a player in 0.03 seconds. Find first. We'll find one by one. The change in momentum of the ball. Find out. The change in momentum. How much is the change in momentum? So change in momentum is delta P. What is change in momentum? Delta P. And delta P is mass into change in velocity. And how much is the change in velocity? So change in velocity is V minus U. Yes or no, class? How much is the change in
Yes.
momentum? So change in momentum is equal to delta P, and change in momentum is mass into change in velocity. So mass into change in velocity is V minus U. Okay. So delta P is equal to, how much is the mass? 100 gram. But ensure your 100 gram has to be converted into kg. So how much kg it becomes?
0.1 kg.
0.1 kg into what was the final velocity?
0 meter per second.
0 minus what was the initial velocity?
30 meter per
30
second.
meter per second. So what is the change in momentum?
Minus
0.1 into minus 30. Yes or no, beta? Because 0 minus 30 is not going to be 30. It is going to be minus 30. So how much is the change in momentum?
minus 3 kg meter per second.
Very good. It will be minus 3 kg meter per second. Here, that's the first thing. How much is the change in momentum? Minus 3 kg meter per second. And now the second question. The average force. The average force applied by the player means the force applied by the player. Which formula should we use?
Mass into acceleration.
F is equal to ma. Okay, so F is equal to how much is the mass? 0.1.
0.1 kg.
Acceleration means v minus u by t.
T.
Exactly. So F is equal to 0.1 into how much was u minus v? That was minus 30. 0
Yes,
minus
sir.
30. Yes or no?
Yes, upon 0.03.
Divided by 0.03. So F is equal to 0.1 into minus 30 divided by 0.03. So F is equal to
F is equal to 10 Newton, minus 10 Newton.
how much will be this answer? So this
Minus
answer will come out to be
Minus
minus what?
100, minus 100.
No, check your answer properly. Do it properly.
Sir, the minus will not be there.
The minus will be there. Don't worry about minus. Minus will be there, na beta. Minus ko kyun nahi rahega? So we get the answer as minus 30 divided by 0.03. How much it is coming? It is coming out to be minus 1000. Exactly. And F is equal to 0.01 into 1000, which will come out to be minus how much?
100.
100. Exactly. How much it is? Minus 100. Very good, beta. So now you may ask me, sir, why the answer is minus? Yes, anybody wants to know the reason why the answer is minus? Ah, bacha? Do you
Sir,
want to know
because
why the
there
answer
is
is minus?
retardation.
Ah, beta?
There is retardation. Retardation is there.
No, 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 no. It's not due to retardation. It's not due to retardation. Yeah, there is retardation, but look at the direction of force.
Sir, the force is applied in a direction opposite to the direction of the ball, motion of the ball.
Very good, Sanika. Brilliant answer, beta. Look at the direction of force. You will find the force is applied in the direction opposite to the motion because the ball is moving in one direction. But if when you want the ball to stop, you apply the force in the opposite direction. So here the minus sign indicates the opposite direction. Clear, beta? The minus sign indicates the opposite direction. Clear, class? All of you getting it? ये बच्चा लोग समझ में आ रहा है क्या नहीं आ रहा?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but I am very surprised that at one stage of our session there were around 20 students and now only 15 students are there. Means students they leave the session है ना in between. हाँ बेटा बीच में छोड़ के चले
No,
जाते हैं
sir.
तुम? The
None, sir.
there are only 15
No,
students
sir.
left now. है ना? That's the demerit of online session. Yes or no, class? Chalo,
Yes,
no
sir.
problem. We will
Yes,
start with
sir.
another numerical. Write down a force of next numerical, that is numerical number 4, I think. Write down a force of 10 Newton. Force of 10 Newton acts on a body of mass 5 kg. A force of 10 Newton acts on a body of mass 2 kg, sorry, not 5 kg, 2 kg for 3 seconds. Initially at rest. Calculate first the velocity acquired by the body. And second, the change in momentum of the body. We start with the first part. A force of 10 Newton acts on a body of mass 2 kg for 3 seconds, initially at rest. Calculate the velocity of the body. How will you calculate, class? Can you give me your idea? कैसे करेंगे बेटा इसको?
Sir, F is equal to m into a, where acceleration is equal to initial velocity, final velocity minus initial velocity upon time.
Very good. So initial velocity is given, final velocity is what we have to calculate, and time is also given. Clear? Very good, beta. Brilliant. See, so F is equal to ma. Exactly. So force is given. How much is force? 10 Newton. Is equal to how much is the mass? So mass is 2 kg. Mass is how much? So mass is 2 kg into acceleration. What is acceleration? V minus U
T minus u upon t.
upon T. Exactly. So you can see 10 Newton, we will change the subject of the formula later on, is equal to 2 into how much is V? That is what we have to calculate. How much is U? U is 0, initial velocity, divided by T. How much is T? So T is 3.
3 seconds.
Exactly. So let's solve it. Okay. So how we will get the answer? So V minus 0 divided by 3 into 2 is equal to 10. Start solving. Or should we change the subject of the formula first?
Yes, sir.
We'll do it like this. So this is in multiplication, it will go in division. Yes?
10 upon 2.
So 10 upon 2 is equal to V minus 0
0 upon
divided by 3. Okay. So this 3 will go is in multiplication, division will go in multiplication. So 10 minus 2 becomes 5 and into 3. Yes or no? Is equal to V
15.
minus 0. Yes. So 5 3s are
15.
15 is equal to V minus 0 will be V only, na?
Yes.
Exactly. So how much is V? So V is coming out to be
15 meter per second.
15 meter per second.
clear, beta? So what is the velocity acquired by the body? 15 meter per
15 meter
second.
per second.
Are you getting it? 2 was in multiplication, it goes in division, and 3 was in division, which goes in multiplication. So it comes out to V, and V minus 0, I kept it. So V minus 0 is V only. So V is equal to 15 meter per second. So let's talk about the change in momentum. Change in momentum of the body. So how much is the change in momentum? Change in momentum is delta P. Yes or no? So how much is change in momentum? So it is mass into change in velocity, V minus U. Yes or no? So delta P
Yes, sir.
is equal to how much is the mass?
2 kg.
2 kg into how much was the change in velocity? Final velocity
15.
was
15 meter per
15.
second.
15 and initial was
0.
0. Just now we calculated final velocity now. So say me how much is the change in momentum?
50.
30.
15 minus 0 is 15. How much it is? 30.
30
And
kg
what will be
meter
the
per
unit?
second.
kg
Kg
meter
meter
per
per
second.
second.
Kg meter per second. So how much is the change in momentum, beta? 30 kg meter per second. Getting it, class?
Yes, sir.
All of
Yes,
you
sir.
समझ में आ रहा है बेटा कैसे करने हैं इसको? देखो
Yes,
ये
sir.
फॉर्मूले बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है.
Yes,
Please,
sir.
all of you, I want all of you to write down these all important formulas. ये formulas नहीं पता रहेंगे ना बेटा, you will not able to do anything in this numerical. And these numericals are very important. They will definitely come in that. These numericals. दिख रहे पूरे स्क्रीन पर अभी? ये न्यूमेरिकल बेटा. P is equal to mv, delta P is equal to m delta v, which is equal to m v minus u. वही फॉर्मूला कर रहे हैं ना बेटा हम. So these are our all important formulas, and then accordingly you have to solve it. Clear, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay.